Welcome to Nothing Less Than Extraordinary, and an amazing podcast dedicated to ordinary people like you and I that have done extraordinary things in our life. I want this to be a human celebration of the human struggle in this journey called life through its up and down and twist and turn. May their life stories inspire you to reach your greatness and to reach your full potential. It is going to be a lot of fun, lighthearted, and raw in all its form. We will cover topics such as love, depression, divorce, parenting, woman in business, anxiety, addiction, self love, forgiveness, and so many more. I am super thrilled and honored to have you here. My name is Ridon. May you have a great listening. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here on this amazing day. I have my fabulous friend, Stephanie Bernier, that's here with me today. So thank you, Steph, for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, I am super, super excited. And we're actually in yellow. I wasn't sure what I was going to wear today. I was like, oh my God, it's my friend. And I want to be able to put on a good presentation. So I kind of just went with the flow and you look at that. It's like yellow and yellow. We're so aligned. And the topic of today is alignment with yourself, which is super, super important. And when I was asking Steph, hey, what would you like to talk about? We were talking about maybe perseverance and hard work, which we'll probably touch on a little bit. But she said, how about alignment? And I was just thinking, aha, the universe is speaking my language, is putting Steph, and she's saying alignment because everything feels like it's being aligned, like the stars are being aligned for me, and I'm sure for Steph as well. So thank you for picking that amazing topic.
Thank you so much. It's one of my favorite topics, actually. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of
We're
fun.
going to have an amazing time. And as you get to discover Steph, she is just a bubble of positivity, a lot of hard work, perseverance, but down to earth kind of human being. And I love being around her because it's positive energy. And I want to be surrounded by people who work hard, who play hard, but at the same time, who care for humanity. And we're good to our fellow human beings, sisters and brothers. So I want to do a really brief intro of Steph. She's full of amazing things, but this is just a little capsule, and then we'll get to dig into her life story, know a little bit more about who she is, and I can't wait for you to discover it. So Steph is a mom of two gorgeous girls. I get to meet them really, really quickly, but they are gorgeous, and I see them on social media with their little luggage and all these different things. They're on the beach. They're just so pretty, like their mom and their dad. Like seriously, it's like the combo perfection of beauty. And also, Steph is leading a very successful company in the health and wellness field as well. She's going to get to talk a little bit more about that and projects that she has that's a lineup in the future as well. And she's a silver medalist for the Women International Rugby in 2014. So she's got quite a bit. Oh, and I forgot, she's also a food chemist by profession. So she has many, many, many hats, like I said. So we're super, super excited. I want to hear a little bit because when we're talking about alignment, I want to kind of give people a little gist of how you grew up, Steph. You live in Quebec, Quebec City, a beautiful city that we love, and I have to go back to it. I was just thinking about that the other day. I went to visit yesterday. My boyfriend took me out on a romantic date, which I've never been. It's called the Fort de... Oh mon Dieu, le nom, si ça m'échappe. C'est pas Baudry, je pense à mon beau-père. C'est pas Baudry, c'est le Fort de... En tout cas, ça va me venir plus tard. But I got to really dive into the history of Quebec and how it came to be, like La Nouvelle France, when at first the people actually arrived, and how much hard work they had to invest. And we get it so easy. So I want to know a little bit about how you grew up, Steph, what that was like, and what led you to go into the women rugby, to then let you into the health and wellness sphere, and to where you are today.
Oh, thank you so much, Reed. I feel privileged and honored to be here with you today. Talk a little bit more about alignment and perseverance, and also a little bit more about me and my background and how I landed here where I am today. So I grew up in Quebec City on the South Shore. I grew up in a normal, typical family with hardworking parents. Um, I didn't travel before I was, I think, 10 years old. So I was very fortunate to be, in a good family where we had
Mm,
strong values, where
mm,
we help each other. I also grew up in a family where sport was very important. So
okay.
my aunt actually won
Mhm.
the gold medal at the Los Angeles Olympic Games. So, I grew up in this environment, which was very inspiring, but also very demanding in a certain way, in
Mm,
the sense
mhm.
where there's a part, not everyone in the family, but there's a part of my extended family where performance and status and all these things
Mhm.
are very, very important. So
Wow.
I grew up in sort of this, um, you know, life where you are valued by how long you go to school and like the degree
Mhm.
you get and all
Mm,
these performance thing.
yes.
And so very quickly I realized that I needed to make my own path. I needed to do things differently from what I was taught to do. So I'm super, super grateful for all the strong values and everything
Mm,
that I learned through my, parents, grandparents, and so on.
mhm.
But I'm
Mhm.
also very grateful that I was conscious enough to
Mm,
eventually say, is this really the life that I want to live?
right.
Or maybe there's a different path for me. So that, intersection
Mm,
came when I was, I would say, at the end of university. So I
okay.
did everything. So I went to school, I
Mm,
studied to become a food chemist. But like something felt like this wasn't right for me.
right. It
And
didn't feel aligned. Huh.
no, I didn't feel aligned.
Mm,
When you feel like you do something for someone else,
yes.
and most people do that.
Yes.
Most people live in the eyes of other people around them
Yeah.
because they don't love themselves enough or they don't seek their true purpose, their true mission, their true
Mhm.
authenticity, what they're here to do. And, and even I said after university, it became
Mm,
clear for me. But I
mm.
would say even before that, when I started playing rugby,
Yeah.
rugby is such a, different sport. It's a
Mm-hmm.
full contact sport without any equipment. Uh,
Yes.
it's sort of like very different, especially for women. For women,
Yeah.
I'm 5'3", so I'm
Yeah.
not tall.
Yeah.
Um, but I really, really enjoyed the community.
Mm.
It's very
The
uh,
team spirit.
team spirit. It's such a nice sport, but also it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
Without really knowing
Mm.
that I was already choosing when I was 13, 14, when I started playing rugby,
Right.
I started going that path of doing something different.
Right.
And then after university, when I
Mm.
graduated, I
Mm.
started working full time, 50 plus hours a week,
Yes.
like a good job to
Yeah.
start with a lot of promotions. I was, very good at what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
but also feeling misaligned again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was selected to be part of the national team. And
Yeah.
I thought, this must be a mistake. There must be another Stephanie in Canada. And the wrong one. I was like, when I got my invitation, I really thought I wasn't good enough. I wasn't
Oh.
fast enough. I wasn't strong
Mm.
enough. I wasn't tall enough. I was, all these things that we carry inside of us,
Mm.
all these doubts that we always have.
Imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
Mm.
And then my husband, which I'm very fortunate to have a husband that evolved with me in the
Mm-hmm.
sphere of rugby. And he said, no, like you have everything to succeed. You have everything inside of you. It's such an amazing experience that you'll be living. So I flew out west in Victoria, BC, to
Yes.
live this amazing experience. And I thought, you know what? If it's only for that one shot,
Right.
I can say that I've been to a national camp,
Yeah.
with the women's rugby team, with the Canadian rugby team.
Yeah.
Oh, I went there.
Mm.
It was very, very hard, but I had
Mm.
a lot of fun. And when I came back, I got another email saying that I was selected for the next tour that
Mm-hmm.
was happening. I think it was in Europe. So
Mm-hmm.
like we went all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for the 2 years after that, I was working full time,
Yeah.
but also working out like a professional athlete. So that means
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 times a day. So can
Mm-hmm.
you imagine like the stress and the
Yes.
responsibility and like everything that when came with it, but
Yeah.
also all the discipline and the structure,
Mm-hmm.
the vision and the goals setting, like all these things that I now carry in me today
Mm-hmm.
came because of my athlete's career.
Mm-hmm.
And although it was very, very challenging, like anything in life, like any growth will
Yeah.
demand, will be
Yeah.
challenging at some point in your life because you're extending your comfort zone. You're
Mm-hmm.
going through, the
Mm.
discomfort.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the World Cup, so I was able to build my way up to
Mm-hmm.
the Women's Rugby World Cup with a lot of injuries, doubts, like name it. I had everything going through my mind during those couple of years.
What kept
And
you going anyway, Steph? Like, like it's everybody can so relate to that. What kept you going?
it was just the vision. It was just when you're pulled towards something bigger than you, that's
Right.
what it is. And we all have the opportunity to be part of something bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we just have to find what it is. It like I know for you, it's spreading love around you and awareness. And for me, it was inspiring people around me to go for their dreams, to go for their
Mm-hmm.
goal, and also on a personal level to see
Mm-hmm.
how far I could go. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Yeah.
always that. How far can I go?
Yeah.
How more can I push? How
Mm-hmm.
more can my body give me
Right.
in a
Right.
athlete's perspective? And
Mm-hmm.
it was beyond anything that I could ever imagine because
Mm-hmm.
I remember finishing my university degree, and I was part of the rugby team at
Mm-hmm.
Laval Rouge in Quebec City, which
Okay.
was a very, very good team. We went to the national championship. We did all these things, and I thought I was fit at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
then I got into the national team
Uh-huh.
where I would be training and pushing and like really expanding my comfort zone,
Right.
like to a level that I had never done before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just crazy
Mm-hmm.
what the weight that I could lift. Like
Mm-hmm.
only a year or 2 years later, it was just because I pushed even more and
Mm-hmm.
I really focused even more. So it all comes down to focus as well. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially today, we have so many distractions around
Oh
us.
God.
Like,
Yes.
I mean, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I heard a very, very successful entrepreneur say that it's easy to succeed today in our time. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, wow, how? And she said, everybody's distracted. You only have to be the one that's
Let's
undistracted.
focus.
Yeah. And I
Wow.
was like,
Good point.
that's so true. So like the only part of the things that we have to do is
Right.
cut distractions around you and make sure that we have a daily routine that
Mm.
will get us closer. And I will talk about that later for sure, like habits and healthy habits,
Oh
because
my God.
I'm
Yes.
obsessed about that.
Mm-hmm.
But your daily routine will dictate where you'll be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. It all
Mm-hmm.
comes down to the small things compounded over time. Um, yeah, so that's how I got to the national team. And like, I wouldn't say the most surprising part, but I was very surprised at the time.
Yeah.
I got a big injury
Mhm.
in the semifinals against France.
Right.
So I blew my knee out. That was actually on August 17th. So like
Oh,
yesterday,
that was like
8 years
yes.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, that we did our final against England. But so I blew my knee out. My tournament was over. We went to the final, but we lost the final. I mean, we got a silver medal, which is the
Mm-hmm.
best that Canada
Mm-hmm.
has ever won.
Yeah.
And I was at the airport coming back from the World Cup. I was at the Toronto airport on my wheelchair.
Mm,
And someone from my team came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Steph, you are part of the all-star team,"
mm,
meaning that I was recognized as the best player, like for my position
hmm.
in the world during the World Cup. So I
Wow.
started from being the one that thought it wasn't the right Stéphanie Bernier. I was not the one that, I would never make it
Yeah,
after the first training camp.
right.
Really doubting myself. Even on the provincial team, I thought I didn't have my place there. I had so many doubts. So that's why I have such it's part of my mission to inspire people to go beyond what they expect or what they think they are capable of, because we are capable of so much more than what we think.
Yeah.
And I was the living proof of that, because I went from not believing in myself to being the best at my position in the world. Can you imagine? Um,
Hmm.
but that's what made an end to my rugby career, unfortunately, because of my injury, but
Hmm.
also because I decided that there was so many other things for me to do.
Hmm.
And we see it often, so many athletes, we value ourselves
Yeah.
by our performances, like
Hmm. Hmm.
performance.
Hmm.
And I was very fortunate to have my aunt as a
Hmm.
mentor. And she told
Hmm.
me, if you want to succeed in anything in life
Yeah.
after sport, you
Yeah.
have to put 10,000 hours in something. And I was
Hmm.
like, I don't know what, I don't know where, like nothing
Really
energized me
special.
as much as being part of that team. And
Hmm.
she said, you'll find it, you'll find it. And
Hmm.
I just became very open to opportunities and very open to the rest of my life. It was like I was closing a chapter.
Hmm.
I didn't want to stay in that chapter. And so many athletes stay in that chapter for the rest of their lives. And it's
Yes.
so sad
It's
because,
hard.
yeah, they only identify themselves as
The
this,
athlete.
that, or the athlete. Yeah.
I want to
Um,
summarize something because you said so many powerful gist. You went from being completely not believing in yourself, so much self-doubt, so much like thinking they must got the wrong Stephanie Bernier. And yet you wanted to give it a try and explore and see where that lead you. And throughout the whole process, you never believed that you felt like you belonged there. And look at you. You went into the national competition and being like one of the best player in your position that is doing it. So that's a very strong, powerful message, which is really inspiration for me. But I know for many people as well, we all do stuff. We want to succeed, but we always have the imposter syndrome, thinking like we're not good enough, not smart enough, not this. I can't compete with that person. But Steph is a perfect living proof that despite having all of those self-doubt, don't you ever stop. Just keep
yeah.
going, just keep grinding. And I don't think that Steph said it, but her aunt is Sylvie Bernier, right?
Yeah.
So she got a great mentor. So definitely mentors are very, very good for you to help you push you and help you find the path. I find why learn the hard way when you can actually take somebody's experience that's gone before you
Yeah.
and take a shortcut. I'm all for
Yeah.
shortcut. I like the fastest route possible.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Steph and what she said is that she had a really supportive partner, and that is so crucial. And that's one thing that I always find: surround yourself with amazing people. If you want to be healthier, if you want to be more fit. I was just thinking of Steph this morning. I haven't started working out in a while. So I knew I was going to go into an interview with Steph this morning. So I'm like, I better not let her down. I'm going to go and hit the gym and do some muscle workout downstairs. But if you really want to be healthy or fit or be successful, surround yourself by people who already done the path before you, because
Yeah.
their energy, it's contagious, their motivation, it's really, really crucial. Steph, you cover so many things, but being aligned to who you truly are, because performance as an athlete, you say, we experience that in so many ways. In the Asian culture is really about academic, the position, the status that you have. And I think that's all great. We all kind of follow that path, go to school because our parents want us to be doctors and this and that. I mean, that's fine. They mean well, but they don't necessarily know what's good for you. And the story of Steph is that she had to break out from the mold and
Yeah.
find her own path because she needed to be able to stand out, because you're just going to be like everybody else if you didn't find your own path. And she had the intuition young enough to kind of not figure it out right away, but already start leading in that path. So that is what we want to be able to send you as a message, is being aligned to who you are, what you stand for. And when you find that, work doesn't feel like work because you're doing what you're meant to do on this planet, right? Did I sum that up okay?
Yeah, so true. And I would add on the last thing that you said, because it's, and I wrote it down like a minute ago. Like I think
Yeah.
it's so important to be paid for being who you are.
Mm.
In life, we should all get paid for being who we are.
Isn't that
And
amazing? Mm.
yeah, and that's how you will never work a day for the rest of your life. And I don't say that in the sense that you'll never push out, you'll always be in your couch comfortable. No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, you'll be busy. You'll have day where you don't know how you'll do everything that's scheduled, but it will most like it will almost be all the things that energizes you,
Yeah.
and the things that stimulates you, and the things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not normal to go to bed on a Sunday night with a knot in your stomach. Like, this is not life. Or thank God it's Friday. This is not life, you know?
Yeah.
Like, your life, your career should be aligned with your purpose. Because when it's aligned with your purpose, then you'll really expand to your full expression, to who you really are and to what you came here to do. We all have a purpose. Like, when I hear people say, oh, I don't know, maybe, no. We all have a purpose.
Exactly.
We just have to tune into it and just, get rid of the distractions around us and just really connect to our heart. And when we feel that connection, when we feel that intuition, because we always have the head that's trying to take us out of certain things, of certain opportunities. And we always have the heart part, which is our GPS, which is our intuition, gut feeling, we can say. And it's a matter of connecting both. So yes, your head, you'll always have the voices in your head. Like, they won't go away. But as long as you feel the connection, and sometimes, like when I said yes to my business opportunity, my head was telling me, what? No, you're not doing that. Da, 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 da. And then my heart was saying, someone's knocking on my door.
I can pause it if you want. It's technology. You want me to pause it? Yeah, go.
So it's really a matter of connecting the head with the heart. And as I said, like in my business, my head was trying to tell me like a lot of different things, a lot of different excuses and reasons why I shouldn't say yes to that. But my heart was like pulling me. I could feel it. I couldn't sleep at night thinking about what could be, all the opportunities and all the possibilities. And this is the point where so many people will cut and go with the head.
Yeah.
And then they'll end up further away and further away and further away from their true purpose, from their, their life mission. But you can always go back, but you have to connect yourself and really align with the things that you like and you love doing.
Yeah.
But it can take time. It's not instantaneous. But every day, if you get closer and closer and closer to who you really are, you'll end up exactly where you are meant to be.
And it's important what you said, because I want to be able to quote the line of my little hero, big hero. When I think about Bruce Lee, when he says, I often quote Bruce Lee because he's one of my idol. But when he says, to be put on this earth, I'm not very good at quote, okay? So I might not have the word properly, but you get the big picture. So basically what he said, our reason for being on this earth is to be able to fully express the full expression of who we are. That's what we're put on this planet for. So if you think of what would be my fullest expression of me, and I'll give you an example for me, and then Steph can also give an example to kind of help you align with regards to that. And it took time. It didn't come to me naturally or anything like that. I'm still working at it, refining it, and it will change as you stages, as you age, and so on and so forth. Right now, it's this for me, but it may change over the period as well. But I knew when I was super, super young, all I really wanted was to help other people. It's all I ever wanted. It's I'm going to change the planet. That's what I wanted. That was my biggest dream. I'm going to do something like, maybe not like Mother Teresa because she was so big, but something along that line where I can bring joy on people's face and make them lit up. And I just want to be the light that inspires so that they can go and tap into their full expression of what they're put on this planet to do. And we all have a purpose. And so when you think about it, I had the pressure when I was younger. Like I knew from very, very young, there's this intuition that keeps speaking to me, like, you put on this earth to do something big. And that was a big pressure, like you said, when you're in a family of athlete and they're high performance. And I have like my grandfather, my father's expectations as well. We come from a family, and that's great because it gives you that power. So you're not standing alone, like Oprah says. When you go somewhere, you present yourself. You're not just one individual. You represent your father, you represent your grandparents, your great grandparents, generation to come. So whatever that is. So yes, I had that pressure, and I knew very, very young intuitively that I was meant to do something big, but that pressure can also crush you. And then you cave into that pressure. So when I hit like around 30, I hit like a bit of a depression because I was nowhere near successful. I didn't do what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I didn't change the world just yet. But I realized that that's not what it means. When it means you have to be successful or do something big, it can come in so many different forms. You don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be followed and liked by a whole bunch of people. You could be just a simple neighborhood that really makes a difference to your community. Just being around the friends and being a great mother, partner to your husbands, your children. It comes in so many different forms. So we associate success with what the social media actually put in our head, but it doesn't have to be that. And think outside the box. So what I want to come down to is when we are fully expressing who we are on this earth, for me, it's really about love. That's what I love. I'm fascinated by that. I want to keep on spreading as much love as possible and highlighting people's life stories. So that's why I love doing this podcast. I realized it came to me. At first, it started as just exploring, being curious, like, what is it I've always wanted to do podcasts. So when you have that inkling feeling, you have to act on it because there's a part of you, it's an expression of you. That's why it comes up. So I said, okay, so I don't know how to do a podcast. I got no clue and I might not be good at it. How do I host? How do I even do this? So don't think about the how, just follow the feeling. And that's what I did. How about I just started off slow? I did that. And look, I'm loving doing podcasts because I'm always inspired and it feels like free therapy for me. So you never know. Follow whatever you enjoy. Like Steph said, do something that you like, and it starts off small. She chased a little passion that was tugging at her heart on this health and wellness journey. So me, it was for my podcast. And then the other thing that I like is I love coaching people. I love one-on-one connection. I love group conferences and stimulating people because when I do that, I feel like if you think that I'm the one offering them all these good suggestions and tools and advice, In fact, it's the opposite. They give me so much, and that's what nourished me. That's what makes me feel alive. That's what makes me excited. And like Steph said, it's not about just doing your 9 to 5 and going, oof, it's Friday. It just, you are excited, waking up, being excited about your day. So think about what makes you excited about your day. What makes time pass by so fast? What is it that you're doing that you really enjoy? Chase those little, like where your heart beats, chase that, because you don't know what opportunity awaits for you on the end. That's where you're going to find your true expression. So that's my journey for me. I'm going to let you describe yours, because that really allows people to kind of find their path a bit.
Yeah, that's so good. And, it made me think about two books that I read that I thought that were very aligned with what you said. Robin Sharma, you probably know him.
I love it.
Yeah,
Canadian author.
So Leader Without a Title. It's actually exactly what you said about like being, the best at what, like in your own terms. And even, the significance, I would say how do you say, the meaning of performance. Performance for me is to tap in my full expression. It's not comparing myself. Performance is not comparison. Performance is, it's really what you have inside of you. So like when my aunt won the gold medal, she looked around her. She had no idea during the whole competition where she was standing at the ranking. She didn't even look at the board. She didn't want to see the board. She was just listening to her music, focusing on what she had to do, on being the best she could be. Not, when we look both ways, that's where we feel more than, less than, and that's not the right path to go on. But when you just think, how can I be the best I can be with what the tools that I have, with what energizes me? And that's where you perform according to your own,
standard.
Standards. And there's also Ed Milet in his book Maxed Out. And he talks about, imagine twin brothers or sisters that come into the world at the same time. They're identical and they get separated at the when they're born, and they meet up again at the end of their lives. One of them is the full expression of yourself. Would you meet that same person? Would you be that full expression? Let's say you meet the other part of you that really went all in with everything they had, that, did all the things, took all the risks. Would you recognize yourself in that person? Or would it be someone that you don't even recognize? And so it makes you think, I want to meet that person at the end of my life and say, well done, high five, we're the same, So it's always about, but that, it doesn't come down to, that comes down to your everyday habits. So I'm sorry, I just went like this.
It's great. No, those are like, there's so many powerful stuff, but those two, oh my God, what a great visual to see. If you got the two version and meeting yourself, would you be proud of who you are? I love it. Keep going. Good. I'm like,
it's all so ears. Powerful. But, I think it comes, finding your purpose and finding what you're here for. You have to get out of your comfort zone. It's the starting point. Like, you won't have anything different if you're not willing to do things differently. And that's like, as soon as you realize that, and as soon as you accept that, that you will feel discomfort, then you're willing to try things. You're willing to risk things. You're willing to, just go different ways that you didn't think would be possible for you. And it's only in that journey that eventually you'll end up, like Steve Jobs said, when he did all that he did, he didn't know where that would bring him. But when he looked back at everything that he did, all the dots connected.
Yes.
everything connected. And that's how I felt when I started having success in my online business. I
Mm-hmm.
looked back and I
Mm-hmm.
saw the young Stephanie that did this and that and the other. And I saw the athlete that really gained discipline and structure and goal
Mm-hmm.
setting and visualization and all these things. And
Mm-hmm.
then I saw myself, and so like all the that, like I saw myself in school, not really liking, enjoying what I was studying.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like goal setting and really being focused on one thing, which was my studies, and everything connected. And I know that I said yes to this opportunity and that it would be my breakthrough
Mm-hmm.
because of all the baggage that I earned during my whole life. But it wasn't always easy, and it's not always easy. That's the thing. Like, it's not because you get to a point in your life, uh, there's no ending point. We never arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And when people say, I'm content, I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with
Mm-hmm.
what I have, and this is not our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that you don't have to be grateful for what you have today. This
Mm-hmm.
is very, very important. Gratitude is
Mm-hmm.
everything, as you know, but it doesn't mean that you can't be grateful for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And the contrast
Mm-hmm.
from where you are today to
Yeah.
where you're going
Yeah.
is what will motivate you. It's what will make you expand even more. And we are beings that are made to expand with the universe. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's constantly, everything is constantly changing and expanding. And
Mm-hmm.
we are part of that. Whether you want it or not, you're part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that we will never arrive, I
Mm-hmm.
will never retire. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this thing? Retirement? Retirement from what? I'm like, I'm not saying like you can't. And like, I mean, I will never be working for anybody else in my life. That's what, well, we can never say never, but
Yeah.
I love working for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no intention of
Mm-hmm.
retiring and
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, like
Doing nothing. Yeah.
we need to be stimulated. We need to
Yeah.
have projects. We need to have opportunities. We like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes us alive. That's
Yeah.
what makes us contribute to
Mm-hmm.
something bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
How do you contribute? How do you want to be recognized? What
Mm-hmm.
legacy do you want to leave behind you?
Yeah.
We all have this opportunity of leaving a legacy. And I'm not talking about like a celebrity, like you were talking
Mm-hmm.
earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but the legacy could be strong family values,
Yep.
you know, like breaking intergenerational wounds in
Yes.
your family, like
Yeah.
there's so many things, there's so many legacies that we can leave behind us, but it starts with growth also,
Mm-hmm.
like healing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Healing, when we heal ourselves, we heal the collective. We
Mm-hmm.
heal the future generations. We heal
Yeah.
our side sisters. We heal side brothers. We heal everything, the planet. We heal everything around us. But it starts with us, and it starts with self-love as well. And I know this is something that you're very, very passionate about. But when we love ourselves,
Yeah.
we get to have healthier relationships, healthier, like everything, because um, like the line is drawn around. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to say that, but like our own limits,
Mm-hmm.
visible limits are there,
Mm-hmm.
and we love ourselves too much to accept
Yep.
out of the things that we would if we didn't have that self-love.
Mm-hmm. And it is so well said because honestly, it starts with being kind with yourself. And for those who might struggle, I mean, different upbringing leads us to different path. But the day that really changed my life is the day when I went to the library and took out a Dr. Phil's book. Like, I believe in the universe. Like, I really go with my intuition. Maybe probably because I have a sixth sense that I don't know where it comes from. But I play this game with the universe often. If I needed some guidance, so I'll ask and I'll pray for some guidance. Let's say I'm going through some kind of a struggle, and then I'll ask for some guidance. And I love books, so I would go to the library and just pass my finger on a book. And if it does a tingling feeling or the book happens to fall out, then that's the book I'm supposed to read. And in that book has a message that's perfectly just for me, for what I need in terms of answer. And that particular day, when I was going through a difficult time in my relationship with my ex, trying to figure out what's working, what's not. You know, you're in the relationship, you can't see when you're in it every day, you don't have perspective.
No.
So having distance really allowed me to gather, like, what do I want out of life? So my trip to Brazil, going to Brazil for 2 weeks, allowed me to heal myself with everything that I've gone through. The divorce, losing my sister, and just change, new home, new environment, new job, new everything, building my business and everything allows me to know where I'm going, because you can't just sail and hope for the best wherever the wind blows you. That's not living. So I need to know where my objective is, like what Steph said, to be focused. So allowing myself to do self-care allows me to realign my objective and know what my end goal is. So that's what it did for me. So if you're struggling with self-love, the one thing that really changed my life, honestly, is taking that book and Dr. Phil talking about self-love. And on another time, I probably would never understand what he meant when he says, be kind to yourself. I'll be like, everybody knows that. You know, it's like, duh, sure thing. But to really understand what it means to truly be kind with yourself is a whole different level. And so at first I read the book, I was like, okay, be kind with yourself. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I think I'm kind to myself. But when I started saying, okay, maybe there's something I need to learn here. So this is the message I got. So how about I practice being kind to myself? Every time I hear the voice coming up going, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, what I do is because you can't shut down that voice, you just say, I get it. I know you're trying, because your body is your program. It wants to protect you, right? It doesn't want to hurt you. So it's like, you can't think like this. And then the negativity comes up and I go, okay, thank you for warning me. Like, you know, either to stay humble and to not think like too arrogant about myself and so on. But I am choosing to be kind with myself. And these negative words are not helping my objective or my self-esteem. So I would turn down the radio. I would visualize seeing that voice going down and then replacing it with something much more positive. And I would always just keep saying to myself, how can I practice just being a little bit more kinder to myself today? So that voice, is it really being kind to me? No. So it took me a long time to truly arrive to being kind with myself. Even to this day, sometimes I have these dialogue that are really bashing. Like I can feel myself like just hitting myself on the back.
Yeah.
I don't even need other people to make me feel worse about myself. I'm the best at it. So then that's when when you're feeling at your worst, you got to be your own best friend. And the one thing I realized that worked for me is I'm a great best friend. Like I think it's true. I know it's true. I know I'm a good friend to my friends because I'm either a very good lover. That's the two goal in life. I'm a good lover and I'm a good friend. And so when I focus on that, if I'm a good friend to my best friend, can I be my own good best friend to myself? And it's harder to love on ourselves than to love on somebody else. But if you practice it, it really takes you to a whole other level. Because if you're not going to give yourself any self-value or any self-worth, you can't expect other people to treat you differently. So you got to start with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true, so true. And it changes everything. And I mean, we all come here with different experiences to live, with different backgrounds, with different, you know, some people think past lives, like whatever you think, okay? But we all have these learning process to do. And some people, it's, you know, when a pattern repeated itself,
Yeah.
Ask yourself a question. What part of me is
Yeah.
unhealed, and keep attracting that? Like, what do I have to learn?
Right.
What's you know, because I feel like it's like life is like a game, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to consciously see through things and see through relationships and patterns, and eventually it'll click, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, okay, now I get it, now I know. And it most of the times it comes down to self-love.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
does. um,
Mm-hmm.
being oh, sorry.
No, go
uh,
ahead. Yeah.
I talked about that to some leaders, at a conference that I did a couple of months ago, and it was about feeling whole, like the
Mm-hmm.
wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling whole is not depending on anyone,
Mm-hmm.
anything, any type of food, like to not have any dependence in your
Mm-hmm.
life. That's where you're free.
Yeah.
That's where you're whole. And
Yeah.
we you don't need anyone to complete you.
Yeah.
Already whole as a person.
Yeah.
You'll find someone that can go alongside you, and that will,
Yeah.
make you expand even more,
Mm-hmm.
and that will love you for who you are. And but
Mm-hmm.
you both are whole. You don't need anyone to complete you. And that's where I think some people got it wrong with love.
Yep.
They think that someone will complete. I need my second half. What?
Yeah.
I'm already whole. I need the second half. you know?
It's
And
all the misconception we've been trained with. Yeah.
oh my God. And one thing that I'm so grateful for,
Yeah.
living in this country,
Yeah.
living in that time
Yeah.
of history, is being a woman,
Mm.
strong,
Yes.
financially free,
Yeah.
um, where I can be, do, have, and give whatever I put my mind to. And we
Oh.
are very, very fortunate to have
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate, and we don't have, like, let's not waste,
Mm-hmm.
just that opportunity itself in itself is
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that
Mm-hmm.
we're here in that time in history, in this country, wherever, well, maybe you listen from another country, but
There's a
I
whole lot of people listening from other countries, so it speaks.
oh yeah,
That's
okay.
great.
Okay. But yeah, we do have, like you said,
Mm.
our ancestors, and the one that conquered and the one that came here first,
Yeah.
they went through a lot of sacrifices, a lot of things, so that I think we could have it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of taking care of us, of ourselves, aligning with our purpose, and going with it. But we
Yeah.
have, like, we live in a time where
It's
you can,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
Opportunities are so great. I want to be able to capture on this, and then we'll tackle on discipline, which is really, really, really strong as well. So I know we're coming close to the time too. We'll have like about another 15 minutes. I want to mention with regards to what you said, with regards to being athletic and having that expectation, the pressure to perform. So you got to know yourself. You're either the type of person who performs well under stress and pressure, or you're not. We are all different, and we got to find our ideal environment to make us thrive. I think when we talk about athletes and stuff, and the expectation, learn to be comfortable with expectation. When I think about you, Steph, about the pressure, the expectation that the family and generation before you that had this on, you had to carry on the legacy, because you don't just want to be nobody, you want to fit in, right? But you got to do it in your own way. And I realized that expectation could be good, but you got to find the path that works for you. So for me, when I work under pressure, I'm good. I perform well because I don't know, maybe I like pressure. It cranks up the motivation, and I want to see where it can take me. But at the same time, I also know there is a trap in expectation as well. So what I do is, now in life, I'm doing all these amazing things that really lifts me up. But at the same time, what Steph had said so good about her aunt, Sylvie Bernier, is that she wasn't even looking around. She wasn't even focused on where she was at. She was just focused in being the best who she could possibly be at that moment. And that's exactly what you need to do, is not think about the outcome, who you're about to impress yourself, beat yourself, like try to outbeat your own performance. Because at the end of the day, you get to look at yourself in the mirror. Everybody else can have their opinion and they're totally fine with that, but you have to live with yourself, and it's yourself that you have a harder time with. I understand social expectation is hard. I'll give you a good example is when I went to Brazil, my dad, as lovingly as possible, he's not for leaving your children, so he meant well. He said to me, oh my God, like, you left to Brazil for 2 weeks and the kids were here 1 week. He watched them, and I feel very grateful to have my parents. And it's just the way he said it, like it was almost, he didn't mean it that way, but it almost made me felt so guilty for leaving, because it felt like I wasn't a good mom because I was thinking about myself, doing my own self-care. And I wanted so badly to get my dad's approval that I started thinking like maybe I did the wrong stuff. But I realized you can still love and respect somebody and then voice your own boundary. That's about self-love and taking care of yourself. It's knowing that their opinion, they mean well, and you thank them for it, which I thanked my dad, and I didn't take it badly. If we're going to go on the defensive, then it's just like who's right, who's wrong. And so it's just knowing that he loves you, respecting his opinion, and feeling confident enough about yourself, knowing that you know what is best for you. So I kindly said to my dad, I appreciate Dad. He's from a different generation. This is a new generation. And I know that I need to take care of myself, because it allowed me to enjoy my vacation to the maximum. At first, the first half of my day was like, got kind of bummed out because I was feeling guilty. So coming back to that is, please learn to listen to what you need and remove that extra pressure that you want to be successful. You want to do this. Do it because it makes you feel good. Do it because it's coming from you, from within, and not to what I do in my business and all these things. Of course, you want to be like, we all want to be like, we all want a certain level of approval, and that's not a bad thing. But it's wanting it too much to impress somebody else. That's where the danger zone comes. Do it for yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I don't think about the outcome. I'm thinking about the moment. I love what I do right now. I get to interview my amazing friend, and she's given us so many nuggets of gold. Like, I'm like fascinated. I'm going to be re-listening to this podcast again, over and over again, because there's so many powerful gist in here. And just enjoying the process and being you. I get to be me, she gets to be her, and we're just having two people having an amazing conversation, hoping to inspire others out there to find their dream and follow their path. Coming back to that, I want to hear a little bit if you have like 2 or 3 tips with regards to discipline, because that's a big one, and the habit every single day.
Oh my God, I love that topic, because it has literally changed my life and so many lives. And the first part of changing habits is knowing that you can change habits. Most of the time when we get into our 20s or 30s, we think that that way we can't change. We eat that way. We're not, really athletic, whatever story you keep telling yourself, because it's just a story you keep telling yourself. And the more you repeat something, like it can be anything, the more you repeat it, the more it becomes your identity. And once it becomes your identity, then it's part of your subconscious mind.
That's right.
So it's really about the conscious and the subconscious mind. And what we're trying to do when we change a habit is going from the conscious to the subconscious, because the conscious mind is 5% of our reality, as the subconscious mind is 95% of our reality. And the subconscious mind is mostly made from 0 to 7. So if you're a parent, my kids are 4.5 and 7. So one is now, she's done that age, but from 0 to 7, there's no judgment. There's no critical thinking. And critical thinking is the layer in between the conscious and the subconscious mind. So before 7, there's nothing. There's like, you can say to your kids, the sky is blue because someone took a paintbrush and painted the sky. And they'll think, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then later they'll say to their friends, oh, you know, my mom and dad told me that the sky was blue, whatever. So they'll just keep repeating what they've been taught. But the thing is, we found out through neuroplasticity that we can always change the connections and our subconscious mind. And once you change your subconscious mind, not only do you change your identity, but you also change your reality, because your identity and your habits will dictate your surrounding and everything you attract in your life. And it's part, you know, it's intertwined with the law of attraction. And there's a really good book that has been written by a very, she's a no, not surgeon. She's a neurologist, you know, so she's got a very, very scientific, she's a doctor, whatever, but she linked the two with, you know, law of attraction with neuroplasticity, which is so fascinating. Okay, so coming back to discipline, I talk about identity because let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say someone tries to stop smoking and they get offered a cigarette. The person that hasn't changed their identity will say, I'm trying to stop. So they still consider themselves as a smoker. The person that changed their identity will say, I'm not a smoker, thank you, you know, by refusing the cigarette. So any day you can decide what identity you want to create. So let's say you want to have healthier habits. There's many, many, many ways that will lead you to that. Your environment. So what you have in your fridge, in your cupboard, like your environment will dictate a big part of who you are. Also, your surrounding. You are the sum of the 5 people that surround you. Like you said earlier, this is so important. So surround yourself by people who value healthy living, who value health and wellness. And you'll see the difference, because you know, the conversations that you'll have and the learning, because it's all about learning. The more you know, the more you want to change. So this is another big part. And also visualization. You need to visualize yourself, like, and also accept that it will be uncomfortable and it will be challenging. And especially if you want to move your body, you know, like you said earlier, like I'm hitting the gym after. Well, the first weeks, months, even years can be more challenging because it's not yet your identity, but eventually it will become your identity. And it won't even, like, I mean, I work out almost every day, but it's still challenging sometimes just to motivate myself. But I know the feeling after. I know who I am. And I am a person that values health more than almost anything in my life. So I know I will work out, you know? So it's not even an option for me anymore, although I don't always feel like going to the gym. So identity, like I said, is really, really the key factor. And we have, like, so many people. There's a really good book actually that condenses everything. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's one of the best books that I've read around discipline and healthy and habits in general. And, you know, there's always things that we can change on a daily basis, like small, like very, very, very small things. And that's what, I can't remember his name, but it's on the book, The Slight Edge. It's so good. And he talks about, like, if you're willing to do, like, why is there like 95% of the people that are sort of the victim of their circumstances, and 5% of the population are really, you know, in control of their lives? And it's because they control their daily habits. Their daily habits will set you free. This is where freedom is. And like for most people, they think about habits and they think prison as it's the opposite. Because
Yeah.
if you know that you'll be eating the right way, fuel, even, feeding your mind the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like habits are in everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
about, even tidying your house. It's everything. I'm
Yeah.
not there. I'm looking
That's
at
so me neither.
mess around
I
me,
hate
but
cleaning, so I leave that to my boyfriend. He loves cleaning. Go ahead.
oh, I have a cleaning lady now just because
I'm gonna be getting there too. It's like when I'll make a bit more, I was like,
yeah,
clean
I
my
mean,
house.
everything that drains my energy, I'm
Mhm.
trying to find people that love
Yeah,
doing that. That's all.
exactly.
It's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. But yeah, when you have to decide
Yeah.
what kind of person you want to be,
Mhm.
what kind of life you want to live, and and look, like, observe around you, analyze around you, and you'll see that you can change in any sphere of your life at in any given day, but it starts with making a real decision. And there's a lot of tips and tricks that you can find on even Google,
Mhm.
making a contract with yourself, making
Mhm.
a reason, like why you want to do that, why and why and why, and going deeper and deeper in your why.
Mhm.
Let's say you want to get healthier,
Mhm.
like, but coming down to the bottom. And at the end, you'll find out, let's say it's because I want to see my kids and my grandkids and my grandkids grow up. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a good why. Like,
Mhm.
I want to be able to run with my grandkids as long as I can.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have to value, like, sorry, I'm just like going
Okay, it's
in
all good.
so many different directions, but it's just because, healthy living is such an important part of me. And I know, like, part of my purpose and life mission is to elevate consciousness around that and
Mhm.
help people get healthier, better daily habits that will
Mhm.
completely change their lives.
Mhm.
But if you say you value health
Yeah,
and your daily habits are not aligned with that, then it's not, you don't value health.
that's it.
So really coming down, like introspection, and
Mhm.
really being true with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? What,
Yeah.
what are the things that are really, really important for you? Is
Yeah.
it your career? Is it your health? Is it your family? Is it money? Is it, like, it's all good,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
floats your boat.
Yeah.
But find it and make sure that
Mhm.
every day your daily habits reflect that value.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when you say that with regards to being true with yourself, like I'll give you a really quick example just so that people understand. I always ask myself, what are my conviction? Honesty, kindness, and really just being a good role model as a citizen, as a mother. And so I ask myself when I do an action, is this aligned to being a kind person, as to being a good citizen, as to being a good mother to my children? If they're not aligned, then I would put it in a basket. I'm like, no. Then I hold myself accountable. And so important to be honest with yourself. I know it's not everybody that's able to do it, but thank God I was born and got good value from my dad. Is he always taught me to always be honest with yourself. Don't ever betray yourself. So say something, do what you say.
Yeah,
And
that's
thank
yeah.
God.
So,
It's a big one.
yeah.
It's a model I live by. And if I'm gonna be like when I teach stuff to my client, I can't be hypocritical. If I'm gonna say you should do that, you can be sure I did it before you, so that I'm actually telling you to do that. You
That's
should
true
never
leadership.
tell somebody, yeah,
That's true leadership.
yeah. And
Going first.
you
Yeah.
that's it. You gotta walk the talk, and you might not be perfect at it, but you're doing it and you're trying. And that's what inspire people. I mean, it's when you're listening to a movie, if it's the movie, it's so easy. There's no plot, there's no obstacle. Why are you watching a movie? It's when you
Yeah.
see your hero going through obstacle and coming out prevailing. That's why it's so interesting. So life is full of ups and downs and journey. Just get comfortable with, like the grinding. And like there was one time in my life I was like, okay, I'm learning, I'm in psychology. I know these stuff. but why is life still a struggle? Like, why am I not sailing smoothly through it until I come to the acceptance that this is the meaning of life? It's full of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Take it as it comes and don't stress about it. And thank God I have the personality who can just adapt to any kind of situation. So focus on your strength, what you're good at, what you like and what you don't like, and then go after the things that you enjoy. Go after, like, for example, Steph was saying she doesn't, she wants somebody who enjoys cleaning. So go for the easiest stuff. Like I don't like to build my website. I'm going to hire somebody who's really good at building my website. And I have an amazing friend who's a graphic designer. She's good at doing this stuff. And I realized I could have broken my head and it would take me months before my website could actually launch. But because I am doing I don't like this stuff. So is there anybody who's good at it and it's reasonable within my price? I let them deal with that headache so that I can focus on the big goal, which is making the difference and going to get clients and working with client and changing their life. That's what I'm good at. Go for the big objective where you can really make a huge difference. Doesn't mean that you don't have to learn and improve. Yes, for sure. But you only have a certain amount of time in your day. Focus your energy, like the 80-20 rule, which is another great book to actually read. It is fantastic. And if that goes, it's based on this, I think he was a scientist, and he realized that the 80-20 rule apply in everything in life. It's how much you can pick the smallest amount of things to do. But if that amount of item yields the biggest result, that's what you need to focus on. So working out this morning, I knew I don't like working out. I know it's good for me when I'm done. I'm so proud of myself, but I know it's a big struggle. So first thing when I do, I was thinking, okay, I have a whole bunch of things that I have to do for my business. What am I going to tackle first? I can't, if I don't work out right away, I'll never do it. So that's the first thing I tackle. I went to do the workout and then I feel good about myself. Then I work on my website. So just find the style that works for you. I want to be also to say this, because when you speak about the routines and habit, it is so crucial. Do small little habits. Okay, identity is important. It's whatever story you tell yourself. And I want to debunk this myth. People think that you can't change your identity. Who says? I'm the type of person who questions everything. Who says you couldn't? Who says you couldn't be rich and do it differently? Who says you have to go to school, earn a huge, big degree, and then find a great company for what to work at and really work at it to climb the ladder? And that's how you make your money. Who said you couldn't be like a health and wellness person doing what she loved, being true to herself and making huge amount of money and not feeling like it's not work? Who says that life, money can't come to you the way you want it? I really, truly believe, don't limit yourself to these things that you've been trained, passed on from generation, your parents, and so on and so forth. I question everything. And I'm the type of person that says, nothing is impossible. So let my imagination just go. So don't limit yourself in terms of identity. You can become whoever you decide you want to become today. So I know who Ree is. I know what she is about, but I know she's always morphing. She's always changing as human being. Like Steph said, we're put on this earth for constant growth. That's what makes us feel alive, because if you hit the ceiling, you're stagnated, and then life is really boring and there's no joy in that. And there's a great analogy I read this in a book, a boat. It's meant to sail. A boat is not meant to be tied down and just stay at the shore. It's the same thing for a human being. We're not meant to be tied down and sitting comfortable and retiring. You constantly have to push yourself and grow. So grow and grind in the pain and look for the positive of the life lesson that's going to make you expand. You might not enjoy it at the beginning, but as you go through it, you're going to see Steph said, everything is aligned, and give yourself the time. Yes, when I was thinking about my business, I'm like, oh my God, it's been like 3 years. It hasn't quite launched off yet. It's like, when is this going to happen? But nowadays, I realize it's not important. Time is it's just an illusion and stuff. Am I enjoying what I'm doing? I love it. Do I have amazing connection? Because I love people. Oh my God, I feel so elevated. And if I died tomorrow, I feel like I lived my best life and I would be proud of it. So if I'm living that life every single day, focusing on how could I possibly go wrong? You can't. So yes, it's been 3 years. And yes, I have not built the company big, but you know what? I'm not even focused on that. I'm just going to focus on enjoying now
Yeah.
and being in the best version that I can. Does that mean I don't get to slack off sometimes or I'm moving a little bit slower? Yeah, just do you.
Yeah.
And do the best you can. That's all we're asking. And small increment of habits, small little habits. Like say for example, you want to change and eat better. If you're drinking Coke and you want to cut down one thing, start with that. Make it like your brain, it only wants to tackle what feels attainable. Because if it's too hard, it will do everything to throw you off course. So as long as you convince your brain that it's something that it can be achieved, and then as you get to that, it will move you on to the next level. Now you're starting to gain confidence. Now you're starting to feel better. Your body's feeling better. You can tackle more. So when we talk about self-love, start small. Same thing for habit, for success. Start small. And every day as you grind at it, you'll get better and better. You can't compare yourself to somebody who, I can't compare myself to Steph working out, and I wouldn't want to. But you know what I'm good at is I love competition for myself. So
Yeah.
I use competition. Like for me, competition is competition with myself. And I love to compete with the best of the best. Then that makes me better. So thank you, Steph, for that, because it allows me to envision. Maybe I won't be able to achieve where Steph is at, but that's not where I'm focused. I just love her as a stimulation and inspiration to push me because she's that extra engine that's going to kick me and give me a good head start.
That's so good. I just thought about something that I didn't shared when we talked about alignment.
Yes.
I feel this is something so important in the process.
Yeah.
It's taking full responsibility over your life.
Yeah.
And how I better explain what I mean by taking responsibility is, there's 4 levels of consciousness. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but I can't remember exactly when I heard that and from who. So I'm sorry for not,
Okay.
acknowledging who it is. But the first level of not a management, the first level of consciousness is victimhood. So these are the people that are victims their whole life. They're, victims of their circumstances, their boss,
Ageism, they're too young, they're too, yep.
your past. Like, oh my God, everything is so heavy. This is very low vibration, and it's fear. It's fear based.
Yeah.
So you can't attract an incredible life with a victimhood mindset.
Yeah.
The second level of consciousness is hustle and grind. So this is where the majority of people in society are. So hustle and grind is, if I want that, I have to do that. A lot of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, successes like relative to anyone. What we consider in society as being successful. So they get that through hustling and grinding, and I see like tea when I see that level of consciousness, and this is still low vibration. This is still fear based because they think if I stop doing that, I'll stop having that. So this is still fear based. So you don't attract. You're not completely aligned.
The abundance and
the third level of consciousness is where the magic happens. This is where I had a shift. This is where you can attract so much more with just being you. It's called higher power flow. So
Mm-hmm.
this is where you're in your flow. This is where you're really aligning with who you are. This is also where you have confidence in life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know you're at the right place at the right time. You know you'll end up meeting the right people, finding the right opportunities, finding the right resources. Like everything is already there. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of finding it. So higher power flow
Mm-hmm.
is the it's higher vibrations, it's enjoying life, is really, I see it as you get to attract, like, when we see people, how do they do that? Like, how do they attract so much and it feels effortless?
Yes.
This is where it feels effortless.
Yeah.
And the fourth level of management is enlightenment. So this is something that as human beings, we don't like, I don't think a lot of people tap into that
Yeah.
level of consciousness. I think I said management again, sorry. So level of
Right.
consciousness, but it's like masters. It's where we see oneness. We
Mm-hmm.
see interconnections in everything, in nature, us as human beings, as
Mm-hmm.
like every living form.
Mm-hmm.
We see love and light, and so this is enlightenment. So this is a even higher frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I love, it's only four levels of consciousness, but you
Mm-hmm.
can see and understand yourself and other people. And it doesn't mean, let's say you get to the third level of consciousness, it doesn't mean that you won't get to the second level of consciousness from time to time, but it's just a matter of being 51% of the time on
Mm-hmm.
that third level of consciousness. This is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so taking full responsibility over your life means that you're not in the victimhood mindset. You can't be a victim and be successful at the same time. Like I've never seen any, you know. So so I love, like, when I talk to people, I tell them you have full responsibility over, you want to get physically fit, mentally fit, financially fit, and spiritually fit. This is
Mm-hmm.
the four pillars for me anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that where I really want to expand like every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It's how the universe is so perfectly aligned because as we were going through the interview, there is so many good stuff in this interview. Like I didn't stop it because I just said, oh God, there's so much. And I definitely need to have you back on because one thing that Steph is so good at, she puts it in a simpler term that you can relate to. And even though, you forgot like the author, you got the main gist. Like, no, I can't even remember most of the stuff I quote. So I think you like over excel me by 90%. So I'm so happy to have you here. But everything that you gave so well. It's well summarized and it's so good. I have to have you back on when you're like in the next chapter because who knows what's reserved for Steph in the next chapter, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And I wanted to be able to mention this to people is that when we talk about because there's so many powerful stuff that you said. I wrote them all down, and I have to re-listen to this for sure. But I wanted to be able to mention like the universe. I was thinking throughout this interview, I'm like, oh my God, Steph said so many amazing things. I cannot forget, and it keep coming back, taking responsibility. And then you just, ding, linked it to. I want to end it with this. You have to take. I'm like, oh my God, I can't ask for better alignment or reading in my thoughts because honestly, it comes down to that. Like, if in life everything that goes through or happens to you and you feel like you're a victim to it or you don't take responsibility, even if you're only responsible for 0.9999% of the equation, you still have an interaction in that you have to take responsibility for. And when I look about with regards to my past relationship, and it takes two to tangle. So as much as I didn't, approve of the stuff, but I always look at it going, okay, what about this relationship do I need to learn about? And what is it, the 1% that I had in this relationship that made it go in the wrong path? And so, what do I need to still learn from it so I don't repeat it in my new relationship? And stepping, once you know your pattern and stepping outside of your comfort zone, like Steph said, that's how you're going to change repeating the same old victimhood and constantly being in the same situation as you. I want to be able to finish this with highlighting projects or anything that you're working on, Steph, because I know you got so many things going on. I want to be able to support you in that, and also to get people to know, and so they can rally behind you. So if you want to share that.
Thank you. Well, there's many things, my mind is always very busy with a lot of things, but I would say right now I'm really focusing on helping as many people as I can on their healthiest journey. Mm-hmm. So you can follow me on Instagram, Stephanie underscore Bernier underscore. You can also find me on Facebook. Eventually, I mean, there's also another project that I'm working on that I worked on over the past year or so. It's trying new habits for 30 days. So every month we get to try a new habit. So we try cold showers, meditating, journaling, like a lot of different things. And once you try it for 30 days, you have more chances to keep that habit. So this is another thing that I'm working on, but I would say like just inspiring people around me to make better choices and helping them. We have a wonderful program to help people get their healthiest, as it's an holistic approach. So it's not only about nutrition or moving your body, but it's also mental health. So we talk about breath work and meditation and all these things. But also financially, we have a wonderful business opportunity that can be offered in a few countries. So if you're interested in learning more about what I do and how it can improve your life and help your, yourself and your family, I will be glad to chat with you. Thank you so much for offering this platform and this opportunity, Rhea. I'm super grateful for you.
It's my pleasure. I wanted to thank you because you gave in so much. And honestly, if you get the opportunity to work under Steph and work with her, she is a great leader and a great mentor. I mean, obviously, I don't have to say it. You can see it in this podcast interview. It speaks for itself. And we were going to be sharing all of the links and stuff of where to reach Steph and so on. So definitely check her out. She is an amazing person. And if you want to learn more about the business, reach out to her. She's super sweet, super kind. She'll guide you. She'll take your hand. It is really, you're in good hand. I want you to end with the quote that really speaks to you, that serves you a lot, either in the past, now, today, or in the future, that can really leave and inspire people. So I'll let you have the last word.
Okay, thank you. I didn't write it down. I think
it's okay.
But it's let me see if I can find it. But it's a quote. I'm so sorry. I didn't think about looking at it. But it's a quote about gratitude, and it says, like from what I remember, it says that gratitude makes sense of the past, may give us peace for the present, and makes us excited for the future. So yeah, it's all about, as I said earlier, gratitude is such a big part of life, of success, like my own terms of success in life. It's really appreciating the journey, the past, but also where you're at right now. Because if you don't celebrate yourself where you're at and how far you've come, you won't be able to create something better for your future. So
oh my God, what a great way to end it, because talking we hear about in terms of gratitude, you really come to sum up everything that we discussed about so beautifully. And I want to thank you. Take this time, like the precious time that you have, to dedicate it to my audience and sharing and spreading all of your inspiration, your knowledge, and just your beautiful personality. Thank you so much for that, Steph. And I definitely will be reconnecting with you down the path in the future, because you're so good at summarizing and just beautifully packaging the message to people. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. It was a nice time with you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.